Well, all energy used by IT equipment in the data halls themselves is converted to heat. And if left unchecked, this heat will accumulate and cause an overtemperature in the data center. So the two highest risk of failure in a data center are either electrical supply failure or overtemperature. So it's extremely important to have a good, reliable cooling system. The environmental strategy of a data center is extremely dependent on the cooling solution. We're in our Suvalahti data center in Helsinki, and this particular room here is the seawater heat exchange center. Well, many people have heard of the concept of free cooling, and free cooling really means that you're using some means of ambient temperature to get rid of the heat in your data center. And many people think this is typically the atmosphere, and it can be the atmosphere. Another form of free cooling can also be groundwater, geothermal cooling, or ocean water, which we have here. So on the left-hand side, we have some very large pumps which take the seawater. They then go through extremely large heat exchangers on the right-hand side, and then the seawater flows back to the ocean via gravity via this enormous pipe on my right-hand side. We are reducing the CO2 footprint of the data center because we're not consuming electrical energy to run compressors and using refrigerants to form cooling. It's an example of free cooling which is a little bit outside the norm, but the wonderful thing about ocean water is it has a very constant temperature right throughout the year, whereas if you're using the atmosphere then you have a very high summer temperature, a very low winter temperature. So this is a very attractive model for data centers. We have a constant load, and here we have a constant temperature to offset that. Amsterdam is another very good example. We have a groundwater storage system where during the colder months we can cool down the groundwater, and during the hotter months we take that stored energy, which is cool, and we use it to exchange the heat from the data center back into the groundwater again. Well, sustainability in data centers isn't only about conservation of energy and water, it's also about fitting in with the local environment. And here in Canary Wharf we have a very dense urban area. So what we've gone for here is we've gone for a dock water cooling system. We have a very large volume of water beneath us, and we will use this water with its high thermal capacity for the energy transfer from heat from the technical area in the data center. So we can build a large capacity data center in a very densely occupied area without causing visual impact or noise or other negative effects. There are concepts emerging in the market which we are supporting and researching, which look at the junction temperature of the integrated circuits themselves, and they reject the heat at that location direct to a liquid, which we then can transfer further to, in this case, the cooling water. So the nice thing about these two concepts, as well as using an absolute minimal amount of energy, we also have a minimal impact on this inner city environment. We're in one of the main chilled water plant rooms of our largest London data center. It's called Powergate. This room's interesting because this is where we exchange the heat from the IT equipment in the data center and move it to atmosphere. And in terms of environmental friendliness and energy efficiency, the important thing is to take cognizance of the ambient conditions. We exchange the heat from the data center into a water circuit, which then goes to high level and is emitted to atmosphere, which means we don't run a mechanical plant, we have a lower electrical power requirement, and overall we reduce our CO2 footprint for the data center. We're certainly at the front of the market in terms of cooling efficiency and efficiency of cooling systems. I guess you could call it an environmental characteristic of London. It does rain quite a lot, and we therefore collect rainwater. So where the rainfall normally will actually fall to the ground and evaporate naturally to atmosphere, in this case we collect it with our rainwater harvesting system. So we store the rainwater for a short period of time and then evaporate it, collecting heat from the data center at the same time. And this is a heat rejection concept which has a minimal effect on the environment. The free cooling elements that we can make available and make use of have an enormous effect on reducing our CO2 footprint and improving our energy efficiency. We are environmentally accredited. Any companies which take cognizance of or are accredited to these European norms will benefit from moving into our data center because they then also enjoy the same accreditations. There is a commercial advantage which we enjoy, which we can pass on to our customers as well. I do find it very rewarding to have a new environmental concept and to demonstrate that it works effectively and to be able to make it a commercial reality.